Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Why don't you give us the history of the rosquillas?
Well, first of all, the best rosquillas are from up north in a small city called Somoto. And the way that they do it is actually they use a special type of cheese that we call cuajada here,
Mm-hmm.
and they use corn, and they combine it. Once it's combined, they actually put it and they bake it. But what I was explaining is that in order for you to do cuajada is a very interesting process because they get the milk and they cut it, what is called cut it, right? And then the next day they grab the cheese that is like it's not a cheese yet, but they get the cheese out and they start actually graining the
yeah,
cheese.
grinding, yeah.
Yeah, but in the rock process that they use, they don't use any type of blender or nothing like that. They use a rock. So they start like just grinding the cheese until it's kind of like pasty. So once it's pasted and all that, they grab it and they put a little bit of salt and they get the corn, they combine it, and they start like it's like making a spaghetti's type because they kind of like do this, kind of like rolling it, and they do a long, it's like as long as this, and then they just cut it. And as you can see, the shape, it's a round, you see? So they just do a little pieces and they just start like making round, and then they put it inside to bake. So it's when you try it, the taste of corn and cheese is there, and the salt that they use is a thicker salt. It's like more the salt that we will use to actually do steak. But of course, they put some water because they wet the cheese and the corn. So it's a very tasteful. In Nicaragua, we eat this with a good cup of coffee. So anyway, highly recommend it. If you come to Nicaragua, make sure that you try rosquillas from Somoto. Remember.
All right, now get out of there because I'm going to tell a story on Rachel. Rachel. So the other thing about Somoto that I love is that there's a big canyon up there, and it is at the very headwaters of the Rio Coco, which is the river that runs between Honduras and Nicaragua. So right at the headwaters of the Rio Coco, there's this canyon called Somoto Canyon. And so we would go up there as a family, and you can float, you can hike in it, and then you can float with inner tubes. You have to carry your inner tube upstream, and then you can float back downstream. But I don't know, maybe a mile up into this canyon there, and it's steep. I mean, it's I don't know, 30, 40 feet wide and 400 feet tall. So it's this incredible straight up and down canyon. But at one point it opens up just a little bit, and there are these giant rocks that you can climb up on. And I have pictures, and I will circulate the pictures to everyone of Rachel jumping off the cliffs into the water, okay? So anyway, yeah, like 30 foot drops into the water. So she was quite the adventurous young lady when she was here as an intern. And we spent a lot of time in Somoto Canyon, 2 or 3 times a year. And then we'd go get the rosquillas. And Giovanni, thank you for bringing the rosquillas to us this morning. What a treat, man. What a treat. Yeah. So, and we had Mike for a second. He was here. And when he comes back, we wait one more second. I will introduce Paul Tiffler, who is the residency attorney, a phenomenal residency attorney here in Nicaragua. And I think Mike's on his way back. Paul, please have a seat. We're gonna put you in the hot seat.